I'm hoping that you'll have worked on your work plan so that they can be approved also in due time. Financial Resource Mobilization Committee, we're recommending that the Stewardship Director chairs that meeting, assisted by the head elder, the treasurer, then the head of outreach, outreach, and the church clerk. Some people have had it this way and it works well, but if you want a variation to that, you can also do. Because like I said, there's nothing that is cast on stone. You can come up with a method that works best for your church. But that has worked for other churches and it has worked very well. Allow me to rush. So the mandate of resource mobilization is that financial resource mobilization, development of an annual church budget. Has your church budget for this year has been developed or not yet? Elder. Is the church budget for this year ready? It's going to be ready this month because they're still waiting for maybe your submissions from the various departments. But when it's ready, it will be reviewed by the Resource Mobilization Committee. They may even recommend other ways of raising money, or they might even cut some methods that you have recommended. But allow them to do that so that work can go on. The other work of resource mobilization is reporting on budget implementation progress. Once a budget is drawn, it's not a static document, it's a dynamic document. It's supposed to be used for implementing certain activities. And progress on it must be reported every month. And that is the work of the Finance Committee. Audit, monitoring, and evaluation, I think I've talked about that. Unless somebody has a query on audit. They do M&E. They identify risk. They classify those risks. Let me ask, what is the highest risk that you have in this church? What is your highest risk here? Anybody? Madam? In your opinion, what is the highest risk that you run as a church?
Our highest risk in this church, I see or I feel that it is security. Yeah. Outside and inside. Yeah, because we used to have police officers at the gate. I don't know whether there was an instance of insecurity. Then suddenly we don't see them anymore. We don't know now whether the situation is now better or why are they not here.
So I expect that to be captured by which department? M&E. Audit M&E should capture that and report admin and finance, so that's reported to the board that the risk we're running today is the security of this church. Because as we are talking, there's no security. Is it wrong to bring that to the attention of the church? Is it wrong? Is it in order? Because we want to facilitate all activities that will enable us to accomplish our objectives and goals. So that's a high risk item. I would not even call it classified as medium. It is beyond medium because it is high risk. Can somebody give me an example of a low risk activity? Low risk item in your church here? Doug. Member attrition. Members are leaving us and we are not aware about it. Members leaving the church. Yeah, that's members attrition. Yes. Yes. You don't see them. Isn't that a risk to your mission? A very big risk, and it's not a small one. That's a high risk to me. I'll classify it as high because it directly touches on my mission. What would you recommend to be done as an audit committee member? Number one, tell us, why do you consider it a risk? What do you recommend to be done? Why is it a great risk?
It's a great risk because it negates our prime goal of discipling for Christ. And, the best way to nap it is to involve these members so that we are able to know, like if they are in place in a certain department, they are in a certain activity.
Assume you're now in the audit committee, you're making a recommendation to the head. What are you telling him? You're making a straight recommendation that this is what should be done.
There should be member involvement in church activity. All members should be given an activity to do.
So that they don't disappear.
So that they don't disappear.
That brings us back to our capacity. What do you call it? What did we call it? That profile that we have, the bank, talent bank, and gift bank. Develop it, then ensure that everybody has something that they're doing. Because if you keep me here without an activity, I'll go. Every year you're allowed to choose an auditor, right? At the beginning of the year you choose an auditor, right? But we simply recommended that because the auditor cannot work effectively alone, let us give him a team to work with him. If you have an auditor in place and you have no team to work with him, you can bring the team on board even now and request them to assist the audit team, the auditor. But there is provision in the church manual for auditor. Auditing of schools, auditing of church funds, auditing of everything. But now we have said, as an emerging issue, why are we just auditing money only? And systems are going bad, like Dan is saying. Members are walking out of this church and nobody knows. Why don't we audit those systems and inform the management before things go too bad? So it can be done at any time. And they also have a work plan just like any other department, except that theirs is independent. You don't dictate on them. They can even carry out their audits as you do your work. They can come up at the end of the month and inform the board that notice we have come across information that such and such a thing is not going the right way, and we're recommending that this and this should be done, and they have the right to do that. The leader of that team is the auditor, who is the member of the board. Yeah. Any further questions? I think you know the pastor's role, general oversight, church clerk, church administration.
Maybe you can allow me to just seek clarification.
Yes.
Yes, talked about the AMEC.
The
AMEC team.
AMEC, yes.
Yeah, audit, monitoring and evaluation committee. And you say that the church is supposed to choose an auditor, elect an auditor every year.
Yes.
Is that an internal auditor of the church?
Internal auditor.
Internal auditor.
AMEC is also internal.
Yeah.
Internal.
It is internal.
But they work independently. Church board. This is a simple work that you're given as a church board. Receive from, you're receiving from who? From who? You receive from elders' council. You review and adopt or throw away. So, yours is to receive and review. Because this has been processed from the departmental council, imeenda kwa elders council, sasa imekuja kwenu as a board. So I don't expect a member who is a board member who was already in that departmental council coming to question again things that they already questioned and clarified. Tunaelewana? This should make the work for the board very easy, because the nitty-gritty of the work for the board is done at the departmental council. Don't come to the board and start asking us how much will the women require to go to Malindi. Hiyo ni kazi ya board. Ni kazi ya nani? Department imefanya hiyo kazi na imefanya hiyo estimate na imepeana kwa elders council, wamereview. Wamerecommend kwamba instead of the train, let us go with the airplane. That is what now comes to the board. It has been detailed by the department, reviewed by the elders council, and now being reviewed by the board. So hapa kuna discussions mingi, vile watu wana spend 20 hours in the board meeting like we have spent today. Board kazi yake ni rahisi. Because it has been the same you who has been in the elders council, It's the same you was in the departmental council, the same you is sitting now at the board. Why waste people's time? Tulisema huko departmental elders, sasa amekuja hapa. Let us just review it. For those departments which are not part of it, you can now stand up and say, according to our opinion, maybe this should be reviewed. Then that is allowed. But I don't expect a member of that particular department to start arguing with this elder at the board level. It's not in order. Spiritual and financial oversight, that belongs to the board. Yes.
When it comes to, something has been discussed in the departmental council. It has been forwarded to the elders council. The elders council has looked at it. They have viewed it, and now it is being brought to the board. There is somewhere where you did not say clearly who is bringing it to the board. Is it the departmental head?
Who is initiating all the agenda to the board? Departmental heads.
So you'll have to bring to the board, but the council understands what he has.
Let me clarify again. Women ministry want to go to Mombasa. They have held a meeting as women council. They have decided that they are going to Mombasa. But they know they cannot go to Mombasa without the approval of the board, right? So what do? They work out their details of that plan. The details will include finding out how many members, collecting the money that you require, choosing mode of transport, choosing where to sleep. You work all those details and bring it to who? To your elder in charge of the council at the council meeting of the department. They have met as a department. They are now calling the elder. Come. The department wants to talk to you. We want to report to you what we want to do. That is an elder in charge of that department. Si anamwambia. If they're in agreement, the elder picks that item of agenda and pushes it to the elders council. Right? At elders council, it is discussed and reviewed and approved or rejected. If it's approved, it's taken to the church board. Ikifika church board, what happens now? It is discussed. There may be members who are not in that department who may want to know a few things more about it. They can, if they want to. But the elder is there to assure them that this thing has been debated and reviewed both at department and the elders council. And that's why we recommended that let us have those three departments, in-reach, up-reach, and outreach, where things can be screened before they come to the elders council. Tuko pamoja? So that when they get to the board, it's simply a question of review and approval, or review and denial. But let us not cause debate again at the elders council that sasa mulipataje hiyo bus ile mnataka kwenda nayo Mombasa. Is that a board member talking, asking the women ministry at the board meeting?
I have a question, Chair.
Yes.
My name is Elisha.
Yes.
Does elders have power over board?
No, they don't.
Thank you.
They don't. Elders are members of the board. Umenielewa? And as a board member, I contribute and my vote is how much? One as a board member in the board. If things are tied, we say let us call for a vote. See? And as a member of the board, as an elder, I've got how many votes? So where can I override? Huh? The issue of overriding is not there at all. If it's happening here, then I think that is not in order. It's not supposed to happen. Because the board, each board member has got how many votes? One, including the chair, who has got the tying vote. If it's 10-10, the chair will say, I make it 11. This group wins. But elders are not supposed to dictate on anybody. I hope that is not the case here, elder. Yes. Can you give him the mic?
Okay, just two clarifications. Just the first clarification that I wanted is the councils, as soon as they've sat, when do they need to give or to forward their council, I mean their work plans and whatever they have to the board, to the elders council, so that the elders council can discuss it? That is number one. Number two is still on the matter that you. Okay, still on the matter of that one. The second one that I was
Repeat the first one, please. My mind was fine.
okay. The first question I was asking was the departments are meant to process their documentations and everything in terms of the work plan they need to do whatever they want to do and what they want to bring as an agenda. When are they meant to bring it to the elders council for in terms of timeline? And that is number one. Number two, the second question is it possible from elders council level, when the agenda has been brought, I heard you talking about they can also reject. What could be the reasons for the rejection, or what could make them reject an agenda that has been pushed by a department?
Agenda might have been pushed by a department. They may not have the possibility of implementing that agenda, because some agendas are put by the department on condition that the church will shoulder the responsibility. Like if the ladies say that we want to go to Mombasa, it's going to cost 600,000 shillings, and they want the church to take responsibility. In such situations, the church board may say, or the elders may simply advise the department that this is not possible. That's a case of a rejection that can be done by the elders. Let me just give you this time, and I was intending to give it to you later. Allow me to skip my presentation and come to the timeline. This is a recommended timeline for departmental meetings. Departmental councils should meet the first Sunday of every month. This will give you 1 week to prepare your agenda items and submit them to the elders council that will meet every second Sunday of the month. The third Sunday of the month, the board can sit down and deliberate on the matters that have been presented. The church business meeting can be held on the fourth Sabbath or Sunday, so that the members of the church are notified of what they need to know. They don't need to know everything. You present to the General Assembly what they need to know, and you can do it in that manner. So that month is what we recommended, and it works for us perfectly in Parklands. First Sunday, second Sunday, third Sunday, allow for business meeting. And of course, the Fine Resource Mobilization Committee can also meet monthly, as may be recommended by their chair. They're not tied to our schedule, but they can meet regularly. AMEC must report monthly submissions at every board meeting. Oseme, during this month, this was our observation about such an issue. It's a high risk, and we must report on it. We came up with this because we didn't like the idea of church boards meeting on Saturday. Why do you say you want to rest on a Sabbath day, and that's the day you want to discuss the business of church? That's the day you want to discuss how you will want to build the church. Why don't you give people a rest on Sabbath and do your business on Sundays? So like now, if I walked into Parklands 5 years from now, or from 2014, when we implemented this, I can walk there on Sunday morning at 7 o'clock and I'll find the chair chairing, because it has become a standard procedure. Boards don't just meet because somebody wants them to meet. It's a requirement that you meet regularly. In our case, we decided it's monthly. So every Sunday, first Sunday of the month, you'll find the departmental council's meeting. Second Sunday of the month, you'll find the elders council's meeting. Third Sunday, tomorrow is Sunday gani a month? Yeah. Third or fourth? Fourth. Call anybody in Parklands today, there may be no meeting tomorrow. Unless it's for another department. But for the church board, it will not be there because it has already happened last weekend. Let us institute systems that we can put in place, that even if you walk away out of this church, the systems will continue. Not that we'll wait for Ochola Jarudi kutoka ngambo, alienda seminar. No system should wait for you, even as an elder. With this system, you can do your functions without the head elder being present. It will have been digested by the departmental councils. It will have gone to the elders' council. In the absence of the head elder, the pastor will chair, and that agenda will be approved, and it will be implemented. Let us not make systems that make us everything. That without me, hakuna kazi itaendelea. Put up a system. Don't put up systems that are dependent on people. This is not dependent on anybody. Things will happen whether you are there or not. And I want to recommend here the church clerk. When a department does not make a submission in the agenda, you simply say no submission in the agenda document. Even if they don't make a submission for the whole year, just report there under the agenda item that no submission from this department. So, and alongside this, you'll be required to do monthly reports for the department, because umepewa pesa leo, next month you need to give a report of what you did with that money. Nimekupea pesa this Sunday. In the next board meeting, that department must report and account for that money. So there's reporting that is continuous every week, every month. Reporting that is continuous. Tumeelewana? Yes. Ask.
I seek a clarification on the board church business meeting. I can see their recommendation that to be done at least every month.
Yes.
The practice has been that we do it as a board. We request for the meeting when we deem it is
Necessary
for us to, and sometimes we even convert the worship program to a business meeting.
Let me tell you the problem with doing that. That is why you're not able to get the support of your members, because you don't tell them what is going on. You only tell them when you feel it is necessary on your part. If members were told that last month we need to pay 100,000, your 100,000, this is how we spent it. Finance committee nasimama hapo monthly and nasema, this is how your money was spent. If I'm a member of that church, I'll give you more money. But what we do, we wait until an issue has arisen. Maybe 2 months down the line, or 6 months, half of the year, that's when you do a meeting to the General Assembly. That is why you are not being supported by many members. Because they do not know what you do with their money. You just stand up to say give. Lakini hakuna siku unasimama kusema nini? It's my recommendation. Why don't you regularly update them? If you can't do it monthly, do it quarterly. If you can't do it quarterly, do it bi-monthly, every 2 months. And like I said, it's only on the need to know basis. The agenda items that are being discussed by the board are not necessarily for the public members, but give them what is relevant to them. If there's nothing relevant, you skip that month. But remember, something like finances, you have to tell me how you spent my money in order for me to add more money. Don't just stand up and say, tutoe pesa 12, and you're not accounting for that money. And I'm very serious on this because I've something I'm going to share with you which may blow your mind. But I've noted that stewardship weeks have been done. Have you done your stewardship week here? Has the one for you been done? Stewardship week of prayer. I'm looking forward to a time when I'll hear somebody coming for a week of stewardship, just to talk to the treasury and appeal to them that kindly do not engage in pay bills that do not work. Pay bill has become a source of corruption in this church. And I'm sorry to say this. Misappropriate use of pay bill numbers. I'm going to explain. Don't get me wrong. You want me to discuss this out of air? Huh? Are we through with have we agreed on the schedule of activities? Can I move to the next one? And I passed so many things. I think we just passed them. Allow me to go back here. We talked of the church board. I want to talk about the church treasurer. Report from the church treasurer is monthly. At every board sitting, the treasurer has to give 2 reports. Report number 1, status of operation in the last 30 days. How we spent your money in the last 30 days. Report number 2, at the church board sitting, the status of your bank account as at the date of the sitting. Aseme kwamba balance yetu kwa bank sasa hivi tukiongea na ninyi 200,000 shillings iko kwa development ya kujenga kanisa. 200,000 iko kwa church budget expense. And 200 iko ya trust fund to be moved to our leaders up there. Am I clear? That is expected every month. And I'd like to recommend that besides the other normal agenda, which I'll tell you about, one of the topmost agenda that we must discuss as we begin is the finances. Because it determines all the other discussions. If there's no finances, why discuss the agenda items which have got financial implications? Hakuna haja. So the treasurer gives those 2 reports. Number 2, procedures of collection, I think I have explained. Safe custody, counting, deposits, withdrawal, surrender of cash interest, oversight by the elder and deaconry. I've explained that, unless somebody has a question. Tumekupea 20,000 uende ununue chakula for the visitors day. You've gone and spent 10,000. What happens to the other 10? Do you have a reimbursing system? Or will it just be shown that expenditure for the visitors day was 20,000? We must have systems in place to ensure that that money is brought back and plowed back into the system. Will somebody take me wrong for saying that? Is that the practice here? That every money you're given to spend, you come back and account for it? And the extra, you bring it back. Can you tell me how it's brought back? How is it brought back? Where's the treasurer? Treasurer, how is it brought back? Can you explain? Sorry for tasking you, but I think this is why I'm here. Yeah. Let me tell you, treasury, if you will do your work the way you're supposed to do it, all members will donate as much as you want to be donated. But if you get it wrong, then you're finishing this church.
Okay.
Can you stand up and explain to them how the system works around procedure for collection, safe custody, counting, deposits, withdrawal, surrender of cash interest?
Okay. Thank you for this.
And oversight by the elders.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Kindly come in front here because this is very important to us. Tell them what is exactly done.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. What normally happens, there are various modes of collection. One, there is pay bill, there is envelope, and there is direct banking. For envelopes, there is always a box which is placed here in front here. After collections, it is locked. After being locked, the treasurer will open the door. The deaconry will carry the box. In opening that box, there has to be at least 4 people, which is the treasurer, the deacon, deaconess, and treasury team. After which, the money is being poured in the buckets, which are in the treasury. After which, we distribute equally the envelopes, whereby after that you account, whereby you are given a small sheet. You put coinage. If
If maybe somebody has used a check, you'll indicate the check. After completion, there is receipts. These receipts are being now returned back to the envelopes for accountability purposes. Now, immediately after receipting, we now record in treasury bank balance sheet. After balance sheet, we record now the coinage. The coinage is where all the summary of the total cash which has been collected for that day is being put on record. The treasurer will sign, head deaconess will sign, or the person who has been appointed there, along with the elder. Now, when it comes to, sorry?
The elder signs
Yes, to sign.
to confirm what has been collected.
Correct.
And what was deposited?
In deposit, the following Saturday,
Yeah, the next elder.
yes, the receipt will be.
So elders got two responsibilities: confirm the previous banking and confirm the counting for today.
So that receipt is going to be attached with the coinage for that previous Saturday.
Thank you.
Previous Sabbath. Yes.
That you surrender. You've given me money.
Sorry?
I've taken an interest of 20,000.
Well,
I've gone for an activity. How do I surrender it?
and the normal procedure should be one.
No, not what should be. Tell us what is.
Okay. There has to be authorization.
Who authorizes it? Who authorizes it?
Authorization is normally done first by the board. The board authorizes spending of that cash. After which there is 3 people who will sign. The treasurer will authorize in that impressed sheet. Then there is first elder and the taker of the cash. Upon receipting, if he has underspent, he'll reimburse back the cash, will alter and countersign the amount which he has receipt. He has returned back, and will support the voucher with the receipts of the expenditure. Then the balance now will go back to the interest.
How does it go back? How does it go back?
It goes back by him and the treasurer countersigning again. That this maybe, for example, was given.
Is it received as new collections, or how is it treated? New collections for banking again?
It has to be banked.
It has to be banked.
Yes.
And receipted again.
Yes.
So that's a second receipting.
Yes. No, you see, interest is normally given once a month.
Yes.
And if the cash hasn't replenished, the treasurer will account it as part of the interest for that month. Okay. So, upon completion, the treasurer will request for more funds, for operations. Yes.
The request of what has been spent to come and boost it so that it's back to 10,000 petty cash.
Correct.
Because petty cash is actually a standing amount of maybe 10 or 20. When I spend 10, I claim 10. I bring back my petty cash to level. Simple. Well, now my question is, in that expenditure item of that particular department, how do you capture what has been brought back? Because when they requested, you approved 20, they took 20. Am I clear? That's what I want you to explain. I've taken 20, I've spent 10, I've returned 10. How is that recorded in the books?
Pastor, thank you so much. Allow me to say this. All money received, all offering received on a certain Sabbath must be deposited. The first thing on Monday,
Amen.
must go to the bank.
Correct.
After that, there is what is called petty cash, where it was withdrawn to take care of the needs of the church.
What is petty cash? Can you explain what petty cash is? What is it? I don't understand.
I'll explain for you. Let me pick my point. Now, the point which was bringing about reconciliation, but somebody takes 20, he has used 10. Now the person who took 20 and has used 10 must come back to the treasury and reconcile. Now, here is where the problem lies. Reconciliation. The receipt you are given, does it match with what you have bought? Right? Now, I know, he knows me. We write a receipt to offset that impress so that they can balance.
Yes.
They can balance the PTCAS which was signed by that head of department. Yes. Now these things must be done by the person who received the cash, which is a head of department with the authority of the elder. I think I've seen it. Clap for me.
Thank you. Those are the things that you need to inform the members about, so that they are clear. When you ask them for money, they'll give you money. But if you have gray areas on finances, mutaitisha pesa na kuna pesa mtapata. Naelewa? That area, elders, go and look at it.
A question.
Yes.
Supposing a club, or for example, AMO, takes money from their kit.
Yes, from their kit.
Yes. They have an activity. They go spend, and
they've collected this money. They have brought it to you as treasury to keep it for them.
Correct.
And you have banked it.
Yes.
And the bank balance shows that they've got 60,000 on their account.
Correct.
They have come to spend 10,000.
Yes.
You've given them 10,000.
Yes.
They have gone with it. They have spent it.
Yes.
They come back with a receipt of less than 10,000.
That is where the question is.
That's where I want you to answer.
In most scenario, there are some one or two departments which have experienced challenge in terms of surrendering. Because the answer is we spent the money correctly, and that's it. So you
remember,
you see in such a scenario, like for me, I won't bother coming to you twice to ask you for the receipt, because to me I'll be like a bother.
Okay. Because this is an elder. Next, let us wind up this so that we can move to the next item.
Pastor, this is a very sensitive department.
Very sensitive.
In an organization like this one. And I like the way you brought it, that the treasury report must be considered every month, so that before that a leader requests for an expense, he must know the balance from that department.
Yes.
So when the AMO asks for 10,000 and you have 6,000, you refuse. A treasurer have power to tell them no money. I don't have money for you. Your account is 6,000. You require 10. No money for that. There's no harm on that. So just stand firm. Nobody will kill you.
Yes. So don't give them 10.
Don't give them 10. Just give them what they requested as per their allocate, as per what is remaining in the balance sheet. And as a leader, you budget with what you have. Don't budget with what you don't have. Yeah. You budget with what you have.
Budget what you don't have.
So, yeah. So it's
But if you budget what you have and you have not spent it, that's where the question is. You have budgeted, you have the money in the bank,
yes,
in the treasury,
yes.
They've given you to go and spend it, but you have not spent all of it.
That's poor planning. Thank you.
Let me leave that. I'll leave that to the elders to sort out.
Allow me just to put another spanner in the works. Exactly where you are asking.
Yes.
The treasurer is saying that there are some departments which do not return the interest. Once they have spent, for example, you have given them 10,000 and they have used 7,000.
Yes.
Now you are asking the balance of 3,000.
Yes.
You said that he needs to protect the interests of members so that next time members can be willing to give. So if you say that you don't want to look like a bother, asking, are you taking care of the interest of members? And if this reach the hearing of the members, next time expect no money from members. So there must be a solution how you are going to protect.
What I was saying, you must come up with a solution for that 3,000 balance. How it gets back into the system and how it is not expended twice. Tumeelewana? It must get back into the system and back into the account or back into petty cash, but should never be expended twice. That's another complicated thing. Yes, bank reconciliations.
Enter into it because there are accountants here. But we need to be very sincere to ourselves. If I request for 20,000 Kenya shillings from the treasury to go and buy something, then I'm given that money, 20,000. And as a Christian, when I go to buy the item, I find that there's a rebate. They're asking me to pay 15,000. Now that means there's 5,000 that is remaining.
Yes.
As a Christian in good faith, I should bring that money back to the treasury with a receipt in good faith. And the treasurer should be able to bank that money in the bank account, rebank it in good faith as a Christian. But he should have the courage to give a report after reconciling the books. He should include that report in his board submission reports and say that this is exactly what happened. So and so was given this kind of money. There was a saving, he returned, and I banked it, and this is the total amount of money which I rebanked in the last month when we were operating.
And this is why I want to insist, and I'm insisting, please, that for every money that has been withdrawn, the person who withdraws must account for it. If there's any money returned, there must be a process of accounting for it also. And that should best be handled by the Treasury Department. But members must be notified of what is happening. That's what I'm saying. Members can give more, and they're willing to give more if they know that the money is being spent in the right way. But if they're not sure, that's why I'm saying you should not just wait until a quarter is over before you talk to your members. There are many things you can talk to them about. You can talk to them about how you have distributed the elders to work this year. See, that is a report to the church, what do you call it? Church business meeting. The items that must be reported to them as a church business meeting. And the items that they do not need to know, which you don't need to report to them. Now, allow me to finish. And in finishing the section of finance, I want to talk of pay bill. Something came into this world during Corona time that is called pay bill. It's the biggest blessing, but it's also the biggest curse. Okay? Because people do not use pay bills appropriately. And I want to start by telling you that there are so many types of pay bill. Pay bill number one. Unasikia? I'm on appropriate pay bill use. The first pay bill system that we have is a pay bill by the bank. It's a pay bill number that belongs to who? The bank. It does not belong to the church, it belongs to who? That's the best pay bill to be used by any church, because when you deposit any money into that pay bill number, it deposits it directly, immediately to that account. And you're notified with two informations on your phone. M-Pesa message confirming that you have sent money to the bank, and the bank will send you a message immediately to your phone on the spot. M-Pesa imetuma, bank imetuma, to confirm that this money has been deposited. Which pay bill number is that? But now churches have also come up with pay bill numbers for the church, which are regulated by the M-Pesa people. Unanielewa? Pay bill number for who? Not for the bank. Paybill number ya M-Pesa ya Safaricom. You have created your own paybill number for your charge. Creator, SDA charge, paybill number. There are two types, major two types of paybill numbers. One, there's one paybill number that as you write to the bank, you notify them that this paybill number will be taken care of by our treasurer, telephone number 0720. Because that is the church telephone number. Held by, most likely, the treasurer. So, you pass it in your minutes in the board that we have designated this number as our church bank paybill, and we are asking you to work with it. It's a paybill that you have been given by M-Pesa to help you to deposit money in the bank. System number one, the first paybill, which I would call A by M-Pesa, will deposit money into the bank. Not deposit money into the bank, will deposit money into the M-Pesa and not transfer it to the bank until the owner with that phone will make a request that kindly transfer 20,000 to my bank account. Elder, am I right? Kindly transfer 20,000 to my bank account. Because remember, this is your paybill number you have created with Safaricom. And the minutes have been given that Osoro, when Osoro is in charge of this paybill. So at his pleasure, Brother Osoro will deposit and withdraw money as he wishes. If he decides that this month there's no money that's going to the bank account, they will hang there on M-Pesa. And as they come to report to you here in the board, utaambiwa kwamba there is an unreconciled paybill amount of 1 million. Unreconciled because it has not been moved to the bank account. Be wary of such reports. So somebody will tell you that, we have not taken it to the bank account because we do not know the intent of this donor. The donor was in Sudan, he sent us the money, but we do not know whether they wanted it for offering, whether they wanted it for tithe, whether they wanted it for that. So we hold it where? On paybill. But when you're holding it on paybill, who has got authority over it? The person with that phone number for the paybill. They can transact it. System number two, the paybill number is M-Pesa. System number two. But it accumulates deposits on daily basis. Ikifika midnight, midnight 000, inatoa hiyo pesa yote kwa jumla 1 million. Bank account SDA charge created at midnight, right? Lakini ilikusanya hii pesa kutoka members the whole day. Lakini kitoka midnight ina deposit. That is a second arrangement of a paybill. Unanielewa? So paybill ya M-Pesa ya church iko mara mbili. Ile inakuwa designated to the holder of that number. Na ya pili ni ile ina deposit pesa midnight. Now the M-Pesa have got an arrangement whereby they take your email address for the officers who are supposed to be in charge of this money. Ngoja tu nieleze. That email address is used to send you an account of what has transpired in your account with M-Pesa for the whole month. So once a month they send you a statement which can go to the treasurer. But if the treasurer likes, you can also designate a copy to go to the head elder, direct from the, or to go to the church pastor. Do you have a M-Pesa statement? It goes to who?
We do.
It goes to who?
The statement goes to the church clerk.
Church clerk?
And the other one to me.
To you?
Yes.
Then you can notify the head elder?
Yes.
If you like.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of paybill, for example.
Now tell me, that is an M-Pesa statement that comes to you every month, right? It shows you how much has been deposited in M-Pesa. Does it show you how much has been deposited in the bank?
What normally happens, for example, like the current M-Pesa which we have, every day at around 10
o'clock.
10 p.m.
Yes.
all the transactions that took place for
Are
that
deposited.
entire day are being transferred to the account. It consolidates all the cash.
Yes.
And,
Just like I've been saying.
Yes. Now, what in this scenario, for example, the phone in which I'm using, it's the old one. All the cash that, for example, all the transactions that has taken place, I'll record them in a spreadsheet.
Yes.
This spreadsheet, because in the statement it won't specify the person who was given. So I've taken the initiative of now recording in my Excel sheet, so and so did a transaction of this amount. At the end of the day, I'll club that the entire amount for the transaction that took place on that day, and for ease of reconciliation at the end of the month.
Okay, now I want you to note one thing, that in that arrangement, the giver of the money is only notified that the money has been received by M-Pesa. When the M-Pesa sends that money from the M-Pesa to the bank account, the giver is not informed. Am I right?
Correct.
He is not aware.
And at the same time,
yeah,
receipts are normally written on that day.
Receipts are written on that day.
Yeah.
By who?
I myself.
Yourself.
Yeah.
So you write the receipts at 10 o'clock in the night?
No, the following day.
The following day?
Yes.
Okay, I think that's a good system, but I'm recommending that why don't we use a system that will take our money directly where we want it? Pay bill number that belongs to the bank will bank that money into the bank account, and nobody can remove it without the approval of the board. Direct.
Okay, now,
what control do you have over that M-Pesa pay bill? Can you transact on their behalf?
No.
You can't?
Yes.
You can only withdraw?
No.
You can deposit?
Deposit? Deposit you can, but withdraw, no. Because withdraw, you'll need 3 or 4 signatories.
So when you get your statement at the end of the month, you reconcile it with who and who?
Okay, in most case scenario, I've been the one who is reconciling.
With who?
I myself at the treasury.
On the treasury?
Yes. And upon, for example, like yesterday being the last Sabbath of the entire month, I'll take the entire transaction that took place, because, for example, like receipting of the cash already took place. It's only now those who made transaction using direct deposit that I'll take the statement, reconcile, write the receipt, then prepare the balance sheet and the entire report for the entire month. Then present, share with the stewardship director and first elder for them to counter check. Upon confirmation, that is when now I'll share with the board members.
Thank you. That means that in order to get your things audited properly, there must be an elder in charge of that, who will reconcile with you those statements. Otherwise, the way it is now, it is a one-man activity. Am I right? If it's a one-man activity, I recommend strongly that we go by the pay bill number of the bank.
Pastor, allow me to
so that monies just go direct to the bank, and notifications are sent to the treasurer and whoever else requires them.
Elder, in due respect,
yes,
we have 2 pay bill here.
Yes.
The one for the bank.
One for?
For the bank pay bill.
Bank pay bill, yes.
Yes. For example, 247. Then the 247 will require you to indicate the account.
Yes.
Which is the church account.
Church account, yes.
Where the problem lies now is after receiving that statement,
yes,
when you are writing that account to that pay bill, the tester does not know whether it is type or combined or church building. That's the difference there.
So they become unreconciled items.
So after getting the statement or after receiving the alert message, sometimes you to call members. You gave this. What is it for?
And if you don't call?
No, we must. It's a must. Yeah. And the management of the church by this time or by then were locating some fund for airtime. It's you must call this
member. Thank you.
That's you must call this member. so that you cannot divert any giving to your own allocation.
Thank you, thank you.
Now the second one is this one where you write pay bills as hash, then tithe. That's where the whole amount is being transferred to. I think that's where you're coming from. That is a bit, because now the system will not need to call a member. Already as indicated, this I pay for tithe.
Okay, so as you indicate, you'll report it in your financial reports as unreconciled, because you do not know which account it was donated to.
Before you write a receipt of this pay bill, you must contact this member. Whether it's Mombasa or in Bungoma, because we have other members outside.
Thank you. Thank you.
You must. Thank you.
I think we have over-belabored it, but I think it was necessary. Right? So what I'm simply saying, let us not misuse playbill systems, because they're prone to misuse. Pick on a system, and I want you also to tell us, if I was a pastor in this church, I would ask you, why don't you want to adopt the church system of tithing and offering giving? Because there's a CFMS system by the SDA church. Or you're not an SDA church. CFMS is a system that has been developed by the church specifically for the purposes of ensuring that everything goes the way it should.
CFMS is.
Can you tell us why CFMS is not being used?
CFMS is available.
It's available.
It's only that majority of the church members haven't embraced it.
They have not embraced it. Have you promoted it?
Several times.
What is the problem with it?
Okay. Previously, some were saying the charges.
The charges.
Yes.
Okay.
So that's why there is somehow.
So members, you're aware of the CFMS? Now the CFMS works this way. You deposit your money into the Equity Bank, which belongs to the church. Let's say it is Greater SDA Church. You deposit your money into that Greater SDA Church branch in Nakuru. When that money is received, CFMS will ask you, is this a trust fund or not? Then you'll respond, right? If it's not a trust fund, then maybe it's an offering or other. Right? If you respond other, you indicate which other. Then they'll take that money and split it. If half of it was trust fund will be debited in the Equity Bank account of the field of the union, with the combined offering being divided also into two. Am I right? 50% being deposited in your bank account here at Nakuru, and 50% being banked at the union account. Is that how it works? Or I'm misguided? The reason why many people did not want to use CFMS possibly was because some thought that this money is going and not coming back to the local church. But I didn't know that the money has got a system whereby when the church receives the money at the headquarters, if it's a conference, it is receipted immediately. And you're notified on your phone that you have donated 10,000 shillings tithe trust fund to Nakuru conference. And that transaction is immediate to you. The church on the other hand will receive the report that this guy who paid 10,000, he also paid another 10,000, which is also part of the offering. But this 10,000 which he paid was combined. 5 of it has been credited to the conference, and 5 of it has been credited to your own bank account at the local church. That is how these systems work. But it is you as the board members to approve what system you want. Am I clear? It is you to decide what systems you want and ensure that it operates with transparency. I cannot belabor the issue of transparency, but I want to say that when we become more transparent, many people will give. Many people will give. People will give and give and give, including myself. People will give. But if it's not transparent, you'll have a problem. Yes, Emma. And I hope you're finishing because time is up. You can see Elder Oluwach coming to make a presentation? Elder? Yes.
If I heard you correctly, handling of church finances should be involve more than one person.
Not that one person, yes.
Dual control or triple control.
Yes.
Now, that is as far as the money is moving from the church to the bank.
Yes. And even as it moves
The
out
same
from the bank.
thing when it's coming from the bank, the signatures are normally 3.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to reconciliation issues, who should do the reconciliation and who should counter check that the reconciliation is properly done?
That's why there's an audit team. Each church has an auditor. The auditor is supposed to be knowledgeable in terms of finances. And if bank reconciliations are done, it is him to come and say that this is the situation. Bank reconciliation is simply bringing the bank balances to the book balances. Let's say that if I've got money that I've deposited, I would consider that money in transit. Money which has been paid out to somebody in transit but not yet received by the bank. The check has not been cleared. So in my books, it's still indicating that I still have the money. So when I do reconciliation, I will reconcile those items so that I can reconcile the bank balance to the book balances. And you know, so that I consider everything in transition. What has been paid out but not yet cleared by the bank? What has been received by me or by the bank but not yet notified to me? I'll pick it from the bank statement and reconcile my book so that my bank balances agree with my book balances. That is accounting. Let's keep that for another day. Hello? He has refused to come and surrender. That's not reconciliation, that is surrender. Bank reconciliation is a different thing altogether. But surrendering, umepewa pesa na umeenda kabisa. The treasurer does not know whether you spent the whole money ama ilibaki kidogo, ama you overspent. Because sometimes you overspend and spend your money. You're supposed to come back and claim it through the church board. Not a bill. Yes.
Okay. I'm saying when there is an overspent of expenditure, the experience in which I have is there is a need for it to come through the same authorization processes, whereby there has to be a need for explanation why you spent more, yet the budget was, for example, 2 shillings. Why did you spend?
I want to make a recommendation because of time. I'd like to recommend that you and your team should sit down with these board members one day just to tell them how you work, so that everybody comes to par with your systems. I'm not saying that there's anything you have done, there's nothing you have done wrong. But let people understand how your systems work. That way you'll get more support from them. Tumeelewana? Any question on that slide? Custody of church property. Who is in charge of this property? Because we have noted that there's insecurity here. Who sleeps in this premise? Is there a caretaker? Is your security? Akivamiwa, mmekwisha. Security firm. Is that enough? Somebody raised it as a risk issue. Do you have an admin officer for this church? Why? Admin officer, the one who will assist the pastor on administrative duties. Muti ya mkono will be sent on errands here and there and will take care of this church. He's the one who will supervise the cleaner of this church. Pay bill we have talked about. CFMS we have talked about. Bank account we have talked about. Virtual compliance, I think you're compliant. Elders duty also we have talked about, right? Kuna kitu imebaki hapo? Si hakuna. Emerging issues include compliance with charge manual and relevant operational guidelines. I think you all have them. Handling of charge board agenda items, I've told you how they emanate from the departmental heads to the board. Sawa. Charge board responsibilities, I think you are aware, unless kuna mtu akona swali. What is the responsibility of the charge board? Order of church business, do I need to explain? Minute taking procedure. Who is the clerk? Where is she? Assistant clerk? You're there. I want to recommend one thing. Your work is the easiest work that needs to be done. Use the emerging trend of recording minutes. Minutes are recorded in 3 categories. You divide a minute into what is presented, what is discussed, and what is resolved. That's simple. Keep it simple that way. Just begin your sentence by presented. Can somebody give me a presentation, Bwana Elder? Elder. What can be presented by department? So that we can capture it in the minutes. The youth department requested for 20,000 shillings to travel to Malindi for a youth camporee. That is presented. Leave it at that. Discussed. What could have been discussed, Elder? No, that is not the work of the board. That's the work of the departmental council. What is being discussed at the board level? What is presented by the youth? We want 20,000 shillings to go for a youth camporee in Malindi. That's a request.
They have presented. I
Yes.
think what is required is now is approval.
Discussed.
Discuss and then approval.
What can be the discussion around that?
Availability
Yes.
of
It was noted that this item has been scheduled within the youth calendar for the year, and it's an important exercise that the youth must engage in. Full stop. Next item, resolved. What is the resolution, Elder? Request was approved. So that's how you capture minutes. That's simple, and don't make it complicated. Present to the board what is presented, the discussion in brief, and the resolution. So you just capture it, presented, discussed, approved. Not approved, but what did we call that last item? Resolved. So that anybody who comes after you, hata ona tu kwamba 20,000 ilipeanwa kwa youth, ilienda kufanya nini? Who had requested for it? Ama ni wewe tu uliketi chini ukaandika kwamba pesa inatakana iende Mombasa. So capture number 1, number 2, number 3. On the agenda items, I want to recommend strongly that do not begin your business meetings by confirmation of the minutes and matters arising. That is an old style of work. Don't begin your meetings with what? Confirmation of the previous minutes followed by matters arising. You have called a meeting today for a particular purpose. When you come to that meeting, do what you have called the meeting for. Those other issues will be preliminary. Itakuja wapi? Mwisho. The last item of any agenda is confirmation of the minutes and matters arising. Tunaelewana? Kwa nini? Utakuta huyu mzee amekuja mkutano, lakini baada ya dakika 10 atakuja kwa chairman. Chairman, nilikuwa na mtoto napeleka shule. And you are still discussing the matters arising. Na yeye anataka kufanya nini? Kwenda. Have we even touched the agenda for the day? So never start your meetings with the matters arising and confirmation of minutes. Here will come the last item. And you'll discover, if you do your meetings correctly and draft your agendas correctly, nobody will ask you for a matter arising. Because they'll have been discussed as you discuss the agenda for the day. Umeelewana? So that you come to the end of the meeting, you only confirm the minutes alafu unaenda nyumbani. You shortcut. Anybody with a question to that rationale? We have called a meeting today to discuss the construction of this church. Why should we still go to the confirmed matters arising, touching on an agenda that was resolved last year? Unanielewa? So secondly, I recommend very strongly that don't start an agenda with matters arising and confirmed minutes. That is the last item on the page. Any question on that? Because of his failure to capture something correct. Error is something that he just wanted to even through a piece. No. Do it at the end. Let it not be the agenda for the day. Because you've got this meeting for a specific purpose. You still have quorum. But you still have quorum until the end of the meeting. Unless you lose quorum and the meeting is postponed. Ordinarily, it's best that you check those 5 minutes, matters arising at the end. Because they're not the agenda that brought us here. There are the agendas that we discussed last week. You'd actually be necessary be having how many meetings in one day? You're going through the meeting that you had last week and going through the meeting that you have today. Is that reasonable? Do the business that has brought you today. That's It's a type of error. Just tuma kwa SMS. Get live pale kwa makosa. That did not hinder the business. I think means taking procedure I've already explained. Out of church business, church board resolution implementation matrix, continuous progress report. I recommend that you develop an implementation matrix program. It's an implementation matrix. As board acts on decisions, you keep a record of what has been approved today and what action has been taken on a continuous basis. But you don't go back on items that were already voted on and bring it. And you develop that and you share it with the board members. If not monthly, quarterly. Margin issues continued, annual church calendar of events. I think that one you don't have a problem with. This is an appreciation that you have talked about. Deacon welcoming team. I think you have deacons welcoming people to this church. Not gonna see that. Deacon. All of the church board. Active discipleship, evangelism, spiritual nurturing and mentoring, maintenance of doctrinal purity, according to Christian standards, recommending changes in church membership, church finances oversight. Mambo ikienda mbaya kima finance ni support not the church. Kwa nini ndio mnaamua vitu ambavyo zinanunuliwa vitu ambavyo zinapokelea. So shida ikitokea ya pesa ni board, sio.
you're supposed to do the oversight. Same custody of church property, the national church property. Any query on those? Any query? Treasurer. Treasurer. Mpena pesa na mtu amekataa kuzalea. In this church. Sorry? In scenarios whereby maybe a member has refused to or has declined to reimburse back the cash or to surrender, I can't take my own decision. I have to involve the decision of the first elder before making the final decision. We haven't, so far, we haven't encountered such a scenario. But if need be, maybe that one can be treated as a, maybe it can be taken as a disciplinary, or at the same time, the treasury will treat it as bad debt, let me say so. But in most case scenario, it should be taken to.
Was it approved? You don't
Yes.
cancel a debt like that.
Sure.
Because you've got the responsibility of oversight. Ile wataamua ndio utafuata. Yours is to report it to the board and let them decide what to do with it, that case. So, anything I've not covered? I think some of them you're just reading because you don't have time to cover everything. Next. We're on which slide? Hapo tulitoka zamani sana. Tulitoka huko zamani. I want to share with you something that we yes.
The church master plan. Is there a need for the church to have a master plan as a roadmap to follow for the next so many years? I've not heard you talk about it.
Brother, we're not in tandem with you. Let us deal with the question that he has asked. Is there a place for a church master plan in our planning process? Head elder, maybe you can answer that. Is there room for a master plan? Yeah.
We don't, but I think it's usually good practice to have at least a three-year plan. Considering we're a church organization, it would be best to have a 3-year plan or a 5-year plan, and every year we update it by the year we've lost. Keep on updating our plan. It makes our work easier for the next period and the next teams that come in. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's the current budgeting approaches in everything, including the nation itself. I think it's part of what guides our BROP at the moment and all those things. So I think if we could adopt it, the better, for better planning for the church as we move forward.
I think I agree with him that it is a good idea that can be put into implementation, but it needs to be followed closely by what I've just recommended to him. a continuous progress implementation plan. So that when some leaders come into leadership, they get to know that something was already going on, and to what extent, and what the next move may be. And that can only be changed by the sitting board. The board may sit and say that this plan is not relevant. This is outdated. They may review it if that be the need. But master plan, I think, is in order for any church. Let us go to Sabbath school lesson on 12th, the life and ministry of Jesus. Are we there? The life and ministry of Jesus. That text says, the least of these, my brethren, in Matthew 25:34, today is in direct reference to the fatherless, children, widows, and heads of single parent families who could benefit from the help that the church can provide today. This is what we're covering this week. As part of our mission, I'm still strongly recommending that why don't we unpack those things that we don't need in the house and bring them out here? Because that is what our lesson is even telling us this week. Unpack them, bring them out here, let it help somebody who is in need. And those who are in need are not just outside this church, they are inside this church. There's some other somewhere who just is praying for a sufuria, praying hard that the Lord may give them a sufuria. While in your place you are giving a sufuria to a dog, or using it just for a pussycat. To you it may not be a need, but to somebody else in this church it becomes a need. I strongly recommend that if the Dorcas, in collaboration with the elders, can come up with something kindly, let us work as Christ did. Meet their needs, and other things will follow. There's a lesson quarterly that was read in 2016, quarter 3. I don't know whether you're able to get the copy, Elder. Can you kindly project it? We had a lesson which was entitled The Role of the Church in the Community. And it simply says, in every community where we are or where we go, let us first of all assess their needs and meet those needs. Then follow with the message. Simple and clear. But this has to be a decision by this board, because it's you who will want to go where you want to go. Consider the man Job on February 16th, 2023. Job did not simply wait for some beggar in rags to approach him for a handout. And I searched out the case that I did not know. Job was proactive in seeking the needs and then acting on them. E.G. White suggested, do not wait for the poor to call your attention to their needs. Go on an inspecting tour and learn what is needed and how it can best be supplied. That is the role of the church. Everything said and done, if we don't do this, we are like tinkling cymbals. Napiga kelele kama debe. Alafu Mungu atakapouliza kwamba kwa nini nilikuwa pale kwa shida na hamkuniona? Kwani tunakuona kwa njia gani baba? The needs are with us here to stay. But God says that is why we exist. First of all, start with your members, meet their needs, assess their needs and meet them, then go to non-church members. Because I want to assure you that there are students here who come to this church who are in need. And that extra thing that you have in your house that you don't touch in a whole week can go a long way to meet the need of somebody else. I think I just want to take this opportunity to thank you. But I want to ask, how many of you have done your work plans for this year? Because I'm told the elder is waiting for the work plans. Are the work plans there, or is just a talk? You have the work plans for the departments. Do you know what you want to do this year? Do you have a plan? Iko? Ama hakuna? That's my point of challenge to you. Do your work plans and work on them. And as you work on them, the M&E team will help you to remind you of what has not been done the right way. And this work that we have will be finished quickly so that clients can come back. Unless with those remarks, I want to end it there. And I'm told your audio musical system does not work, or it works? Audio music system works or it doesn't work? Is it on or not on? Because I've requested them to play a song which I have not heard. Is it connected to the system? You don't have a musical system in this church? Then what is the problem? That becomes an audit query before I leave. Elder, can you come up and give some concluding remarks as I put the music system on?
So thank you very much. As we wrap up, I'd just like to highlight the following. I don't know, can you project the proposed dates before you put on the music system? The dates, the Word document that I put. Yeah. Now we are doing the next steps. The first thing that I think you need to do as a church is to sit down and look at the proposed structure. Whatever we have discussed, you need to fine tune it, you need to refine it, then it can be discussed at the Elders Council, it can be discussed at the church board. If you decide you want to adopt the proposed structure, then I think it needs to be done, brought to the business. Once it is adopted, then we go to the next step of trying to realign our departments. So that is a very critical step, going to discuss it so that we agree, is this what we want to do? Secondly, we need to consider constituting the audit monitoring and evaluation committee. You need to discuss, then you look at which members can constitute that team. Then we have the departmental council meetings. You have the departmental councils, but before I come to that, we have proposed to you that we cannot just be having church board meetings that are announced. You know, you hear an announcement made here on Sabbath, tomorrow we have church board meeting, and people are not prepared. You need to decide on the dates for the church board meetings throughout the year. We are recommending that departmental council meetings take place on the first Sunday of the month. The following Sunday, Elders Council meeting to review all the reports from the departmental councils. Then you can prepare an agenda to table the church board on the third Sunday of every month. So that it is, I mean, you can plan, you know, every third Sunday of the month, there's a church board. As a church, we have come up with dates for our church board meetings up to December. People can plan around that. You know when the next church board is coming. I want to propose that to you. Next, realignment of duties. Can you put up that? Oh, hope it comes up. Okay, just try to enlarge. In the presentation, sorry, I'm using, this is a duty roster that we have, but I'll just let you have a look at what we have. If you look at the dates that have been proposed, there is a department that has, there are the dates there, there is a department that will be running the program that day. If it is a health, no, just go up. No need to share all the rest. So we have the elder who is in charge of divine service. So there's an elder who comes with the pulpit party. Then there's the elder who is overall on duty, looking at everything else. And then there is the elder who is in charge of the treasury. We need to come up with that duty allocation. Can we go to the proposed reorganization? The restructure. Just sharing that. Now go down, 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 down. So what we are proposing now, there is one that is void, there's one that I've emptied the names, but because of time, we need to reorganize. We need to reorganize the departments this way. We have those departments that fall under admin and finance. The department that fall under admin and finance, one, we have the clerk's office. That falls under the first elder. Then we have the treasury. Those ones are directly supervised by the first elder. Okay? Then we have stewardship, development, personal ministries, P and lighting, deaconry, communication, religious liberty. All those departments, they fall under admin and finance. Admin and finance is chaired by the head elder. The head elder chairs admin and finance. They are the ones who consolidate all the budgets. They are the ones, I'll share this, don't worry, I'll share the voided copy with the head elder so he can share with you. They are the ones who will look at all the budget proposals that have been made by the departments, and then as you discuss anything finance, they are the ones to table the board, coming up with a strategy for raising the money that you want for the year. That budget, how do you finance that budget? How do you want to fundraise? How do you want to do what? All those things are discussed by admin and finance. Is it clear? Who mobilizes resources in the church for church budget? That is done by stewardship director, isn't it? Yeah, we will make a comment. I think Elder will make a comment on issues of budget. How do we do our budgets for the whole year? I'm just trying to rush because of time. Departments that would fall under InReach, just go down, children ministries, AMO. We put there Sabbath school, although you can put Sabbath school under outreach, education, hospitality, music, camp meeting, family life, possibility ministries, AYM, all those, they fall under InReach. The departments are chaired by one elder. There are elders in charge of each department, but there is an elder who coordinates. If you like, you can call them, you can call that the InReach team, or you can call that the InReach cluster, whatever term you want to use, supervised by one elder. Then there are those falling under outreach or mission or soul winning team, Dorcas, interest coordinator, health, AMR, VOP, SOP. If you have any schools that fall under your church, they will fall there. Publishing, all those, outreach. There is an elder who coordinates all those departments. Finally, there are those prayer ministry, midweek prayers, prayer cells, all those coordinated by another elder in charge of outreach. The elder, outreach can be put under the first elder. Okay? Because those are very few departments. Now, the proposal is The first Sunday of the month, those councils as clustered, they have their meeting. So the first Sunday of the month, you expect Inreach to be meeting, Outreach to be meeting, Admin and Finance can have their meeting after that, maybe in the afternoon or something like that, the first Sunday of the month. All those reports, written reports, are submitted to the elders for consolidation, discussion, so that they agree on what is going to be, they pass what is going to be presented at the church board, which comes the following week. Okay? Is it making sense? If there are questions, just put down the questions, we'll come to them. I'm trying to rush because of time. Can you put up the next strategic focus areas? Can you look at strategic focus? It is important at the beginning of the year for the church to determine, no, strategic focus, not that one. The church must agree on what they want to focus on at the beginning of the year. These are the things. Can you make it bigger? Yes. Now, this is supposed to be developed by the head elder in consultation with the pastor. Actually, it is the responsibility of the head elder. For our church, this is what I came up with. 2023 strategic focus for admin and finance. 1, to fully operationalize the new administrative structure. Completion of ongoing church development project. Acquisition of additional land. Optimization of performance of some department. Promotion of systematic benevolence and actualization of church academy. How does that sound? Big things for admin and finance, isn't it? Inreach. Study of all the SDA fundamental beliefs. Sorry, that is not the correct spelling of beliefs. Now, in terms of Bible study, you need to take note of this. Ad hoc study of the Bible. Somebody comes and they say, today we are studying Matthew, another one will come next Sabbath and takes you to Revelation, another one comes, takes you to Micah. No. Come up with the Bible study topics for the whole year and let them be shared with the church members so that they know. In our church, we have agreed we are doing the fundamental beliefs. It doesn't matter who speaks, even if it is week of prayer. You will come as a guest, you speak in the morning, but then come the time for Bible study, there is somebody who has already been appointed in good time to prepare for Bible study. So Bible study topics, we have agreed we are doing fundamental beliefs. We started with the first, we are going to go all the way to the last one, every Sabbath. Sometimes guests come on Sabbath, and you tell them to conduct Bible study and they're not prepared. They just pick their Bibles and they take you through something that is not well researched. It is now, Bible study in our church is done internally. It is the elders doing it. We have posted elders all the way to the middle, to mid-year, June, until the last one. I know when I'm supposed to present, I prepare in advance. The church members know what is coming next Sabbath. They even know what will come in April. They are preparing and they are ready. Cannot have guests who come and they are not prepared. It is a disservice to the church. So Bible study topics determined from January to December. Guests come, they do their presentation in the morning, if they have to have additional time after the Bible study. But Bible study is driven by the church internally. The next, so we have that, reviving midweek prayers, revival of prayer cells, active visitation. Those are in-reach activities. Revival of senior youth, reading of at least one book in the year. Outreach, vibrant chaplaincy to our schools. Target, there is that number of baptism, 50. Reaching out to non-Adventists within the territory of the church. Yes, that is a big outreach activity. On this one, first thing is to map out the territory of the church. Get a map A sketch. I wish I had time to show you. Just get a sketch of the major landmarks. There is a road going that way. There's that other road. There's that other road. Where do you think your church territory ends? Going this way. You just mark there with a dot, dot, dot up to that road. Then down this way, it goes like that, like that, like that. The catchment population. As a church, you can then decide for us, our target this year is to have 100%, to convert all the people who are in our territory, 100% to make them Adventists. Very ambitious target. Then you come up with activities to do that. It's not a matter of just saying 100%. How do you want to reach those 100%? I mean, all the people in that territory. I will come back to this in a few minutes. Conduct one crusade by end of year, evangelistic mission to an unentered area. Those are strategic focus for the church. Who is responsible? Elder Stanley. Elder, these people are waiting for you to do it. I like Elder. I don't know if you'll allow me to say this. Elder did something. He shared something with me which really impressed me. In his former church, they did bookmarks. You know those nice bookmarks with the strategic focus, well printed, nice, beautiful bookmarks. Crater SDA Church, Nakuru, with a nice logo of the church. Then the strategic focus done and given to all the leaders, or if you can, all the church members, you put them in your Bible. Anytime you open your Bible, you see them. Anytime you can even walk around with them. Stanley, talk about legacy. That is something nice. Church members will be walking around with this. They know what you're praying over. Amen? Now, how do we do work plans? Can you put up work plan? There's a work plan. Sorry, I'm rushing. Now, I'll share with you this template for work planning. Template for work plan. It has the strategic objective, activity, expected outcome, performance indicator, the annual target, then the targets for the quarters and the estimated cost. Let me give an example. Can you put the other one? There's another work plan that is populated. There's a work plan that is done. I'll just share with you an example of a work plan. There's a work plan. Oh. Is it there? Or it's not there? My. Will you allow me to put up? Will you give me 1 minute to just put up the work plan? Check if it is there. I think there should be a work plan. Let me just check. Don't know, Elder, if there's any comment to make on as I get that. Okay. Give me a minute. Let me put up the work plan.
I think I just want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of you for spending the whole day with us here today. We hope it has been beneficial. And like I told you in the morning, something worth doing is worth doing well. If you're not willing to do it, then don't enter into it. If you're willing to serve this church, serve it professionally. And ask the Lord to help you. In closing, I'd just like to request the church clerk. Church clerk, kindly bring my bag. I'm allowed to send you, right? Through His word, still guide your steps and lead you home. Is the wisdom of your heart. You can count on Him also. Take your time, oh, take your time to read His word. Don't you know how much He dearly loves you? Don't you know how much He came to save you?
Don't you know how much He cares and died to save you? So take your time, oh, take your time to love the Lord. Take your time to sing and praise. Is the one to praise your name. Is the one whose praise is worth.
Okay, I think we are done. Let's get the. Okay. As the as he shares the booklets that we have, let's see. Have you been able to open? Is it there or it did not come? Huh? It's not there? Oh, sorry. Let me check again.
Take your time, oh, in prayer. Is the one who answers prayer. Is the one who promised you an answered prayer. Is the one in whom alone all your strength can be renewed. Take your time, oh, take your time, and only pray. Don't you know how much He really loves you? Don't you know how much He came to save you? Don't you know how much He cared and died to save you? So take your time, oh, take your time to love the Lord.
What you have in your hands is the board agenda
Take your time
for 1 month. I'd like to recommend that you also share with the people on this side. Look for somebody with a copy and sit next to them. Because the next few minutes I'm withdrawing out of them. I'd just like to give you an idea of how we should work seriously for God.
just a little sound again. Take your time, oh, take your time to serve the Lord. Don't you know how much He really loves you?
So what you have in your hand is what the church board is supposed to do in 1 month, including the reports and the agenda.
Don't you know
It's just to give you an idea of what you're supposed to do on a monthly basis.
God to save you?
And when your work is done, you copy to your boss, your pastor, the secretary for the conference, and you can even forward it to the division so that people know exactly what you're doing on the ground.
Okay, so as you look at that, let me just share these 2 slides with you.
Can you pay attention to this side just a minute?
Okay, there are just 2 documents on the work plan.
Only 2 documents, please.
Then we can go back to those that have been shared. Okay, just enlarge this. Enlarge a little bit more. Okay. I don't know if you may want to just add. Can you enlarge it a little more? Okay, I don't know if that's the best we can have. Okay. Now, I want you to look at the work plan template. That is what I had shared, the empty template. But look at the example that we have here of the work plan.
the work planning has to be done around the 3 thematic areas or strategic focus areas. One strategic focus area for us is what? Outreach. Every department in their planning must outline their outreach activities. Second strategic focus area is inreach. Share with us what are your inreach activities and then your outreach activities. Every department. Look at this example. This is a work plan for a youth department. Okay? Can you just go up a little bit? Are you able to close this side? Is there anything you can do to close? Or I think you should just, well, I'd like to see the beginning of the page. Let us see an example of a very simple work plan for a department. Very easy to do. If we had time, we would have taken you through this. Look at the spiritual needs. Just go up. Look at, okay, that is okay. Yes, yes, a little further. Thanks. These are the outreach activities for the department. They are, what is the strategic objective? To provide spiritual, mental, physical, and social development for this. But you just write there outreach activities. Okay? Outreach, strategic focus, outreach. Is that okay? What are the outreach activities? But they want to do Bible study. 1. Expected output. To have spiritually well-nurtured youth members. Right? What about the performance indicators? You will be looking at the number of Bible study sessions conducted and then the number of youth attending Bible study. Those are the performance indicators. What about the target for the year? They want to hold 24 sessions. They want to have 50 members participating. Okay? Then you break down the targets per quarter. 1 session per quarter, 6 per quarter, with 50 members attending. The total cost will be there, 6,000. Then you come to the next activity. It can't be simpler. Can you take us to the next activity? They want to have youth Sabbath. What will it do? Will enhance the youth capacity. Then you look at the outcome. Outcome. Enhanced youth capacity. Performance indicator, number of youth who are engaged and actively participating. Target 4 Sabbaths in the year. If you break it down per quarter, a Sabbath per quarter. The total cost is put there. Then can you just go down? I want us to just have a look at some more. Then there's the issue of Kesha, a seminar, social Sunday, talent night for the youth. Those are their outreach activities. You come to their inreach activities. 1, they want to conduct, these are soul winning. Sorry, can you go back to, So they have their outreach activities. Then these are soul winning activities. These are outreach. They want to conduct a needs assessment in the community. They want to see how many orphans are there, how many widows are there, how many require what, how many sick people are there who require services, who require to be visited and prayed for. Just visiting to conduct a needs assessment. Then coming up with a plan. These are now outreach. They put them the other way. Can you go down? So their outreach activities, they'll conduct a needs assessment. No, down. So they want to conduct a needs assessment. They want to do visitation of the sick. They want to distribute food items to those who are needy. Are you seeing? Then they want to do home visitation, distribution of clothing. Those are their outreach activities. Then they also come up with inreach activities. Okay? Inreach activities, involvement in the church activities, like having youth Sabbath. You know, that would be an inreach activity. Just giving you an example.
Is it okay? Now, if you look at a department like women ministry, outreach activities, prayer breakfast for kina mama. Would that be a good outreach activity? Agreeing on a book to read for the year. For us as women, this is what we want to read. Outreach activity. Then those prayer sessions, Bible study, and all the rest. When you come to in-reach activities, the programs that you have within the church, inside here, the programs that you have inside here. Is it okay? Then, for those programs, look at the calendar of events. Pick the ones that fall. There are some outreach activities in your calendar, like the Women Ministries Day of Prayer. Is there a day of prayer for women ministry? It is there. That is your outreach activity. There are other activities that may appear there, like if there's a day you've been given for women, that is your in-reach. Now, if it is just your normal program, is that okay? Women are planning to go and conduct a crusade. What does that become? Outreach. Every department break down your work plan in terms of outreach activities, in-reach activities, and finally what? Outreach activities. Remember, the work plans have to be costed. And they must have targets, for measurable targets. How will we know that a department is performing? Importance of targets is for the sake of monitoring. Can you put up the M&D? Ile ingine uliweka. This is how the audit, monitoring, and evaluation team will monitor what you have done for the departments. One, once the work plans have been developed, all of them, and passed by the council, at the council level, at the in-reach have discussed theirs and consolidated. Outreach have discussed theirs and consolidated, and admin and finance. And they have all been approved in principle. What happens? Copies are given to the Audit, Monitoring, and Evaluation Committee, AMEC committee. AMEC committee members need to be taken through some sensitization so that they are aware of what they are supposed to do. Constitute the team. Preferably have an odd number for the team. Once you constitute, let them be clear on their deliverables. What is their work? They are not doing financial audit alone. You heard it from Elder that they are doing a systemic what? Audit. Let them get all the work plans. Once they have clarity of what every department is supposed to do, they will be monitoring performance based on what the targets that have been set. Is that okay? They should operate somehow independently. What I mean by independently means, no, they should be operating. How do auditors operate outside here? Their work is very quiet. They observe, they meet, discuss, and they come up with their report, isn't it? They should be allowed to summon a department. I'm saying summon in quotes. They can call women ministry department that, excuse me, we'd like to have a meeting with you people today in the afternoon. They sit down with you, then they ask you questions. You had this target and this target for the year. How far are you with this? How far are you with this? How far are you with this? Just checking with you. Then they'll be able to pick gaps, which they can then put in their report. Elder, you may want to comment on this before I close on the AMEC. Once they pick whatever gaps are there, they'll put up a report. And remember, their report, they don't report to any department. They will write a letter to the head elder, highlighting the gaps that they have noted. Those are audit queries. They will write to the head elder stating that this department, we have identified this and this and this. And we have given them time, we have given them 1 month or 2 months to work on this. By end of the quarter, we hope this will have been resolved. So they write to the head elder. So official, they write letter communicating their findings. Okay? Let me give examples of findings that they can make, observations that they can make in the church. If it is an issue of how elders are operating, they may identify that elders are coming late. Is that an audit query? Yes, because it interferes with the rest of the program for the day. Elders are making announcements that are taking too long. Elders are not participating, are not coming back for Bible study in the afternoon. They're just telling stories outside there after lunch. Or it can be deacon, Sabbath school program beginning late. Sabbath school is beginning late. So they identify a department and they make their observations. But now they raise those with who? They write to the first elder because he is the one who is driving the operations of the church, isn't it? Yeah? So they are reporting to him so that the head elder can then take action. If issues raised are resolved, that is it. It does not come up again. But if the issue is still there, they will stand and present their report to the board. So this AMEC team, anytime there's a church board, they are given time to rise up and make their presentation. Okay? They report, I would say they report to the board. They stand and they report to the board that in the last 1 month, they have made the following observations. In this department, there is this and this and this. And the risk that that poses to the delivery of our mandate as a church. If there are those targets, if a department has not had any meeting from the beginning of the year, how do you expect them to deliver on their mandate? Now, let me just share with you broadly the kind of report that the kind of report that a department may have, okay, kind of report that they have, and from this, the AMEC team will draw their report, isn't it? Do you remember some of the deliverables that the youth department had? The monitoring and evaluation report, their performance report at the end of the quarter may look something like this. Can you just go down? You can see nicely performance. This is the performance evaluation report of the youth department that I highlighted their work plan. So this is what the AMEC report will give us. Youth department had a strategic objective to provide spiritual, mental, physical, and social development for the youth. Can you remember? Do you remember a statement like that? That is what they had, isn't it? What did they achieve? Bible study, they intended to have 24. Okay? And they intended to have 24 in the year, and they were supposed to have a target of 6. They were supposed to achieve a target of 6 in a quarter. But in that quarter, first quarter report, they only managed 2. They fell short of how many? 4. -4. Are you seeing? Youth Sabbath, they were supposed to have that number. That's what they achieved. In terms of attendance, yeah, they were supposed to have 50, 40 people attended. -10. That's the deviation. Are you seeing how serious it becomes? Now, that is how serious the AMEC team should become. So that when you say you are having Bible study, they'll be telling you, you are supposed to have Bible study, with such kind of attendance. They observe and then they give us such kind of a report. Does this sound professional? Because we are talking of doing our work in a professional what? Man. Are you seeing the kind of report they should produce? Just go down. They were supposed to do needs assessment. What did they achieve? Blah, blah, blah. And go down. They will come to the elders, whatever was your target and what you achieved. So, can come down, and that is the way it will look. Okay? If you're supposed to develop your work plan, is the work plan there? And everything and everything and everything. Plus the budget. They even look at the budget, the financial bit. What were your targets and what did you raise? How much did you raise? What was actual achievement? So AMEC team is not a simple team. And then their report is not just based on this performance. They will also be looking at, this performance is done with the department. Okay? The department comes up with this report. They look at it and then they are able to make their comments. Is that okay? Is that okay?